King Cake.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Comic Book Club. I'm Alex.
I'm Justin, the King Cake baby.
I'm Pete.
And we're coming to you live from a couple of places on the internet. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Maybe you're listening later, wherever you get your podcasts. Very excited to be here tonight. Very excited to talk to all of you. But a little programming note first. We were supposed to have Rick Remender and Paul Azaceta on the show tonight to talk about their new upcoming Image comic books, The Seasons, which is awesome.
Which is sick. Oh my God, it's
check
bananas.
It out. We won't spoil anything about it, and they will be on the show at a later date. But unfortunately, Rick Remender lives in Los Angeles, and he and his family have been evacuated due to the fires. They are safe. They're doing okay, apparently. But in honor of that, we are later on in the show, Justin and I are going to do trivia to benefit the LA Fire Department, the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We might not get it. And
I hope we get it. I hope we get it.
Oh, fingers crossed. But instead, since we don't have a guest tonight, we spent the past weekend.
And let me say, spent is a great word choice, because I spent a lot of my soul down there, and I am spent still.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Icarus, I flew too close to the sun and paid the price.
Yes.
And that, of course, is because he ate one jalapeno the morning his.
You didn't let me finish the sentence. You didn't let me finish the sentence. We were in New Orleans this weekend doing live shows for the first time in 5 years. My math is probably off, but it's been a while.
Felt like 30.
Yeah. I wish it was.
It felt like no time has passed. I slotted right back in, loved every second.
So what we're going to do, since
nice.
you guys loved watching those sports games and the post shows, I figured we'd do a little bit of a post game on New Orleans.
Hey,
tonight.
Sports Alex, welcome.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love football.
I know he does. So real quick, while you're talking, Bills are winning. Alex and I watched the Bills game on Sunday before he flew out. He did already.
So romantic.
It was beautiful, and let me just explain what I mean by Alex and I watched. I watched the game from a table. Alex sat underneath the TV and looked away from the television.
I did.
He was everyone in the bar. Everyone in the bar is looking at the game, cheering on the Bills, or in some cases the Broncos in your face. Other Justin and Alex is sitting there under the TV, completely ignoring everything that's happening.
I was looking the other direction at my game, which is comic books. That's what those are the only teams I care about are Justice League and Avengers, baby.
You were just staring into faces like a psychopath.
Staring into faces.
I could kill that guy. I could kill that guy.
Totally. That's what I'd like to do. Is I like to go to a bar in New Orleans and picture how I can kill people.
Yeah,
that's what other people are
bars
doing
with you. Yeah.
So yes, we were down in New Orleans. Also, I'll mention we are going to do our regular Q&A later in the show. So if you got any questions for us, you can certainly hit us up now. That's fine. We'll interrupt our talking about New Orleans, but we did a bunch of stuff down there. We flew down. Pete flew down on Thursday. Justin and I flew down on Friday. We ate a lot of food. Ostensibly, the reason for being there was twofold. One, to go visit Stray Bullet, a.k.a. Brett Macris, who works an amazing restaurant
and his family.
With his wife called Shift in NOLA that is right above Brew Carré, the sweatshirt that Justin is wearing, which is this amazing brewery down there. We're doing a show that night with our good friend Anthony Marquez, a.k.a. Boothman, a.k.a. the guy who runs the Joe Cupert School, as well as Gavin Guidry, an artist.
And a comic book shop as well.
Yes, Anthony owns a comic book shop as well in New Jersey.
Yeah,
that I definitely remember the name of. Anyway, so we were doing that, and then we were also doing a bunch of interviews and a panel at Fan Expo New Orleans, which is having the same weekend, which again was ostensibly the reason for going down there. So lots of interviews, ate lots of food. That's the ground run for the thing. But let's talk about it. What are you?
Well, you act like there's a corporate overlord we have to justify this trip to, Alex.
Yeah.
You're like, sensibly, that's what we were doing. Nothing weird.
I want to give them a shout out. They were very nice to us and set us up with a bunch of stuff.
Hey, King Cake baby.
Yes.
My favorite king cake is at Shift.
Okay, so that's apropos of nothing. I'm going to give a little basis for that. One of the things that we discovered, this is my first time in New Orleans.
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
You guys have been down multiple times?
This is my second time.
Okay.
Pete's been down one other time where he also crashed at Stray Bullet's place. I've been down. I weirdly had a job where we shot this series of commercials in New Orleans.
And the 100 places to drink before you die.
Well, we never went to New Orleans for that show, but I was
seems
down
like you
there.
should have, though.
You're right. Well, we were hoping for more seasons. Let me be honest.
Okay. Save something for the second season. Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I was down there like 2 or 3 times a year for like 4 years straight. So I've been like NOLA heavy for the last 5 years of my life.
Yeah.
So
we do have a question here from Stanley over in the comments. He said, "Did you recognize each other in person?" And I'll be honest, I did not realize you guys had legs.
Wow.
Well, Pete almost didn't have legs. We made him walk more than he wanted to. That's for sure.
You guys have different definitions of vacations. Justin was like working out, going for runs. It's a vacation.
It was great.
Like,
we
what
got
are
to
you
walk
doing?
all over New Orleans. I feel like that's the best way of seeing a city is by walking around it.
You
But
guys
Pete
haven't
was like,
aged a day, which is upsetting. I wish you would age more.
Well, here's another thing or at least I remembered. I forget that I'm both the youngest and the tallest member of Comic Book Club. And we really got to experience that again in person.
Asshole. Yeah, this is important. This is super important.
As we walked around,
I mean,
ate rich food, and I was like, yo, guys, let's do this next thing. You guys are both,
We got to talk about the food, though. I mean, the food that...
Well, hold on. I do want to mention, just before we move on, one thing that we discovered this weekend is after all the times that Pete and I have argued about our college town, Ithaca. I went to Cornell. He went to Ithaca. We discovered that we went during the same exact years, which we didn't realize until this weekend.
And also went to the same slope day.
Yes, we went to the same Slope Day. Slope Day is a celebration in Ithaca, different city. I know we're not talking about that, but
I will say the realization that you guys have more connections than we thought was very funny, and honestly, I think it brought you closer together in a real way.
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. It was a moment of like,
You know what didn't bring us together is how cold you guys were when I was almost dying. You were like, you fucking pansy.
What?
And what aspect? Because you were almost dying for several different reasons over the course of this weekend. So please be more specific about what
sorry, was
crisis.
it the cold, the walking,
All right.
the one jalapeno?
Stop with the one jalapeno. That is not true. That
I've
sandwich
never-
was laced.
no,
that
no.
was so many. That was
Laced.
full of them.
I mean, I will. So we had. This is one of the last things we ate, but for breakfast Sunday morning, Stray Bullet took us to this amazing.
It was so delicious.
Dongfan Bakery, I believe is the name.
Dong
of it.
Fang, I believe. Yeah.
Dongfang Bakery, about like 15, 20 minutes outside of New Orleans proper.
In East New Orleans. Yep.
And people were lined out the door picking up king cakes, which is the thing that everybody eats there and everybody argues about, right? King cake, baby.
Yes, and I feel like we're giving sort of like a hasty tourist understanding of what New Orleans is, as if we're experts. But yeah, king cake's part of the Mardi Gras celebration. We're leading up to that, which is in March, I believe, this year. And it's a beautiful, great cake, sort of cinnamon bun adjacent. Usually, there's some nice frosting on top, I think. And each cake
Not
has a
cinnamon
baby.
bun.
Yeah, I believe.
like-
Well, what we found out, you weren't there in our cab ride to the airport. Actually, just to take a quick step back, Brett Macris, the entire week, it was like, just so you know, everybody has a strong opinion on king cake. And I kind of thought, honestly, that he was like provoking or goading people into it. I was like, okay, not everybody has a strong opinion. On the way home, the lady in the cab who was driving the cab was like, so what you guys eat while we're here? We ran down and she's like, did you have king cake? We were like, yeah, we had some king cake. And she's like, what kind of king cake? And we were like, okay, all right.
And then she was like,
You gotta say
she was like,
cream
I eat
cheese,
that
Bill?
shit year round. She's
Oh, yeah, dude. People.
and luckily we told her what kind of king cake we have. She's like, that's the right kind of king cake. So,
yeah.
Dude, even
was
Brooklyn
close.
was going nuts for king cake. He was like, dude, anytime
Brooklyn
you open the
is a
box,
person.
he was right there. He was like, what's up, bro? We having some king
Brooklyn.
cake? Where's Brooklyn
I
at?
like Pete. You have a way of talking about stuff as if everyone was with us on this trip.
Yeah,
We were
just
like,
a little
Brooklyn said
more
the craziest
explanation. Just a little more explanation.
We've
Because
talked about Brooklyn a bunch of times.
I know, but it's Anyway, I don't want to get into it too much. Just to get back to it, though, we had these for breakfast. We got banh mi, which were fantastic at Dog Fountain Bakery.
Truly. We had like a 9 a.m. banh mi,
which was
Sunday,
a great way to
before.
start the day. Normally, if you can look and see what the ingredients is that you can get in your sandwich. But we walked in there and it happened so fast. It was like, yeah, 4 number 4s. We're like, oh, okay, I guess we don't get to pick what kind of sandwich we get. No problem. But I didn't read it. And all weekend we've been handed food. It's been amazing. I haven't thought about it at all. The one time I'm not really paying attention, it's like, I'm halfway through my sandwich. I realize this thing's got jalapenos in there. And, normally if you have one jalapeno, you're like, holy shit. You're like, yo.
I'm sorry. You were not halfway through it, first of all.
Yes. Let me do a quick reenactment of what happened. Okay. So we're sitting at a breakfast table eating this, and Pete goes, oh, my God. What's in this thing? There's something in here. Something in this thing. As he's taking more bites, in between bites, he's like, yeah, something weird in here. And finally he opened the sandwich. He's like, this thing it's got lousy with jalapeno. As if like in the middle of Aliens, it was a jalapeno coming out of his chest, coming out of the sandwich's chest. And we were like, yeah, jalapeno, classic ingredient. And then he took some off, kept eating. It was like, I keep getting hit, guys. What's going on in here? He opened it up. There's like 9 more he missed in the first batch.
It's ridiculous.
Well, and then Pete would not eat the rest and lay down on the table, like head down.
I was done.
Like a punished child.
I was done. My stomach was like, shut it down. IBS activated. All systems are shut down.
And Stray Bullet has it. FYI, all banh mi have jalapenos. Shouts.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot that when I go to my banh mi spot, because they knew me so well, they would take the jalapenos out. I forgot that you have to say no jalapenos, because that's the first thing I would do.
You don't live in New York, is your banh mi spot like a Panera Bread, or what is that?
Yeah, he's talking about Subway.
No, I was talking about when I was living in Philly, across the street from a really nice banh mi spot.
Oh, okay.
And let me say, Pete left like a hip young person, went to the airport 4 hours early. Yeah. Got there, and we were like, Pete, have a safe flight. Silence. And I just got to know, Pete, I'm asking you here in front of all of our comic book club family, how is that flight? Is everyone on the flight mad at you?
No, because I just sat next to the bathroom and was charging my phone and couldn't eat, couldn't drink anything. I was just kind of like in a fetal position, laying on the floor. Just going to the bathroom. No, of the the waiting area where you're waiting to get called up. Yeah, when you're just anyway, so I was just sitting
there. Airport.
Yeah, going back and forth to the bathroom, to the fetal position on the floor next to the charger, to the bathroom. My dad tried to call me. I was like, "Fuck off." I was in rough shape. I was sweating. It was brutal. I couldn't eat anything. I had all these plans to get beignets at the airport. I couldn't eat anything. I was like froze out. It was just
wow. I did not realize it was actually that bad.
Yeah, it was
me neither.
But just to jump back to more pleasant.
And then the car ride home, the guy had no suspension, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking puke.
Rooster
crazy. I can't believe you ate one jalapeno and it went that jalapenos wrong. But let's jump back to nicer things. All in the Game wants to know any beignets, and that was Pete's number one request. And Pete, we've known each other for a while, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I knew, because the amount of times you had mentioned beignets going into this, that if we did not get you beignets immediately, that is all you were going to talk about all weekend. So
a hot beignet injection is what Pete got immediately when we landed.
Yeah. So yeah, we arrived. Pete very nicely handed us 2 very delicious tacos when they picked us up in the car. Really, really good. And then after a brief break, we walked over to get beignets at Cafe du Monde, and Pete taught us the proper way to eat beignets. Pete, you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, what you got to do is after you take a bite, you kind of like lick it a little bit, and then put it back in the bag, and you shake it up, and then you
lick the dough.
Yeah, yeah. It's a smart way to do it. That way you're getting the key is the most powdered sugar that you can possibly get. You want it drenched in powdered sugar.
And just to recap as well, all the boxes behind you are filled with powdered sugar right now. Those aren't comic books. This is a big reveal you told us.
Yeah.
Have you?
Because Pete,
by the way,
we also learned that Pete wants to be buried in a coffin
Powdered
we
sugar.
will fill with powdered sugar.
Yeah.
Right.
And then set him down.
You can pay
shake
your respects
the coffin.
for some powdered sugar, or you can be one of the lickers. You know, whatever job you want. You can either be
the corpse lickers.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we did get the beignets, and Pete, I will say I was kind of doubtful about this. I was like, oh my God, it's raining outside. Let's not do this. But you were like, no, we got to walk over to the Mississippi River and eat the beignets in front of that. That was a very good idea. That was great.
It was very cool.
It was very nice.
It was very nice. And I was also, beignets are great, but they are fried dough. They're like a very good version of fried dough. Cafe Du Monde, the place. Alex got a chicory coffee. We were living it up.
It was very good. And then we walked around for a bit. We stopped at a bar where what?
On the game, I think I just got diabetes listening to that. Shouts to that.
By the way, this is basically like we're showing people our vacation photos after our vacation.
Famously something people love. Let's give a little information, Rich, for anyone. This is like our comic book club tourist guide. Because right after that, we went to a bar I really like called the Aaron Rose and got the frozen Irish coffee.
Oh my God, you gotta get it. I made the mistake of not getting it, and it's unbelievable. Please
it's like
get
a
it.
great boozy milkshake. It's a great way to start
delicious.
a day
And
where you want to
diabetes plus too, because it is like you go from beignets to that. It is just like ice cream on top of powdered sugar. Yes, please.
Yes, I was making fun of Pete for being sugar crazy, but this thing is awesome and it's extreme sugar heavy. But man, it was fantastic.
We had to be taken down a peg off your oh yeah, you guys and your sugar, and then we go and get the most sugary milkshake type thing we could ever get.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Lovely.
then you found
that's in the quarter. For anyone looking, that's in the quarter. A little bit on the west side. Definitely worth checking out.
Then you found this great place called Napoleon House.
Yeah, we went to Napoleon's house.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but they built it for Napoleon when he was in exile. They were like, come over here. You can live here, and that he never lived there. Was that?
Yeah, it was a scam that they were going to try to move Napoleon from his exile to New Orleans, and they built this house for him, and then I think he died before they could get him there. Which, if I'm planning a scam, I do the house building last. Mm-hmm. Build the house last, I think. Get your guy out. Get your guy out first.
But we did have muffaletta there, and that was delicious as well. For anybody who doesn't know, that's like meat, cheese, olive, not spread, but
tapenade.
Tapenade.
Yeah, that's where you lost me
some
a little
kind of
bit.
crusty bread. Oh man, it's so good.
Not a big olives guy.
Oh man, great sandwich. But while we're talking about the food tour, let's just see if we can bang down. Stray Bullet calling out your pronunciation, muffaletta. Let's bang down.
Yes.
So we did
for Stray Bullet's sake, I'll mention that lady who drove us in the car also corrected my pronunciation. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let's talk about. So we did our show at Shift in Brucere, and Brett, surprisingly but also unsurprisingly, served us a absolutely sick menu. If you listen to the episode, we definitely talk about it, and you get to see us lose our minds, as well as Gavin Guidry, Anthony Marquez, definitely, but Gavin Guidry, whose deep voice, he was like, "That's the best thing I've ever eaten in my goddamn life."
Well, so I'll also mention with Gavin Guidry is that he called me right before the show. He is a New Orleans native, so that was when we were setting this up with Fan Expo. They were like, "Oh, this will be easy. He lives in New Orleans, no problem. Easiest guest to get." And I was like, "Great, sounds good. We like his art. Awesome." For anybody who doesn't know him, he's done stuff in Birds of Prey, Predator versus Wolverine, Superman 78, etc. He's doing stuff for JSA and Uncanny X-Men coming up, which he
up and coming
bunch.
artist. He's making moves right now. He was a great fun guest.
He calls me right before the show and he's like, "I got a flat tire. I can't make the show." And I was like, "Oh man, what a bummer." And then,
well, to be fair, also just to backstory, he got the flat tire on the bridge that crosses Lake Pontchartrain, which is like it was the longest bridge over water in the world, I think. So he was stuck in like a dark place, literally.
The worst.
yeah.
Kind of like
so not great. He was super bummed as well. And I was like, okay, that's fine. We know Anthony. We always like talking to him. So this will be all good. And then Gavin showed up anyway, about like 10, 15 minutes into the show, which was great. And then at the end of the show, his dad called. It was like, I'm here to pick you up. We're going to fix your flat tire. And he's like, well, see you later. So it was a quick, fun pop in from Gavin.
He came in, ate this food, talked. We had a great conversation about comics.
Great. Yeah.
Please listen to the podcast because he talks about. Yeah, I think we're saying the same thing, Pete. He
the
talked
accent
a little bit about
stuff is just unbelievable. The local accents versus it's just really
he's
impressive.
Basically been Henry Higgins to Gail Simone on Uncanny X-Men and teaching her how Gambit should actually be talking.
We talked about really Channing Tatum. It was really interesting.
Yeah, but just in Step Up. Just in Step Up, not a...
Hey, don't bring that up, dude.
Gambit.
Come on, dude. Come on. That's too...
No. Gavin had some really good tips for him on...
They met there... They started their love there, but then they couldn't.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
you guys
too
are
much.
friends. You guys are friends.
You're talking about the relationship between Channing Tatum and Jenna Dewan, who Mad
Dewan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jenna Muffaletta. Jenna Muffaletta is what I call her.
Put some goddamn respect.
Put some tapenade on that.
Now that you have the context back to it, Brett gave us the sick tasting menu throughout, so you want to talk down some of the stuff.
Comic Book Club burger was insane.
Just wait. Let's do an order, Pete.
This my dear Lord.
Yeah, Stanley, did you guys get along? You're seeing it. You're seeing
it. Come on. We got along.
We got along great. We do have a blast when we're together. It made us want to get together more often.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Because it's very
fun.
Me
too. That sounds great.
Alex douses himself with water as he says it. I'll see if I can hit this menu straight below. Keep us honest in the comments. First off, we had a custard caviar. He called it the bump because it
was a cream day custard. Wait, if you're not going to do it right. It's a cream day custard.
It was a creme fraiche custard.
I'm literally saying it.
You got it wrong.
He called it a bump. I was about to say, he called it a bump because it's like cocaine for your tongue. It's so good. It's got a little sweet in the creme fraiche custard.
Creme de custard.
Okay. Everyone's trying out words here. Great. It was so good. It kicked it off.
Muffaletta.
Good.
The moof.
Then we did the second course was a lamb tartare.
This was unbelievable.
Pete, maybe you can offer some commentary on this because he was smoking the lamb from the night before, which you got to see.
Yeah. It was really impressive to see him work the smoker and the amount of work that they put into to give this place amazing fresh food it's extraordinary. They're working around the clock. He picked me up from the airport. We got home. It was like 10 o'clock at night. He started smoking the lamb. We stood up drinking, smoking meat. It was crazy. It was delicious.
That's Pete's love language. Next up, the course. We had a chicken nugget with black garlic cream and smoked trout roe. This was very good.
So good.
And then the final savory course was the Comic Book Club burger, something he also surprised us with because he had asked us on the sly for each of us separately what our favorite burger was. Yeah. On the Slack. And each of us gave a wildly different answer. I said a blue cheeseburger. One of you said...
I said the Western burger, a Burger King, where it's the onion rings and barbecue sauce.
Yes, onion rings, barbecue sauce. And Alex, what'd you say?
I said actually very similar to you. I said the blue cheese, blackened bacon. I think that was it.
Yeah, because there's bacon in the meat.
And there was bacon in the grind. And so he fabricated this burger, brought us together like some sort of Voltron of food, and made a burger that is still on the menu at Shift. So any astute listeners who are in the Nolans area, head over there and get it.
I will say, because we spent a lot of time at Brew Carré, it was pretty cool to see people ordering the Comic Book Club burger off the menu.
It was hard not to go over there and be like, it's named after us.
By hard not to, you mean you guys both did that. And we're like, I'm that. And the kindly old woman who ordered was like, I just like blue cheese.
Yeah. Sorry, we did mention this, but I'll mention it again.
Their blue cheese is sick.
The smoked lamb tartare, which Gavin Greedry said was the best thing he's ever eaten in his entire life.
Yep.
Yes.
Second.
That was the second course. We did say that. And then the final course was Becky's King Cake. We had our own.
My favorite king cake in all of New Orleans.
Yeah. That was the menu. We were fed very well. It was shockingly good.
Yes. Then the next day we spent it at Fan Expo New Orleans. We actually stopped by there. That's what the walk that killed Pete on the Friday night.
6 miles, bro.
Walked around. I think the highlight for everybody at Fan Expo on that first night was they had a little pen with baby pigs in it, and we all equally loved seeing that. It was so exciting.
You should have paid the $15 and be able to live your best life.
I don't think so.
Did you see the picture of Brooklyn? You see the look on his face?
Sorry, the picture of the child enjoying it instead of me.
So just let me just back.
Oh, you wouldn't have had that same smile?
Yeah, I would have.
There was a someone was like a mobile zoo had some animals there. A tiny sloth, which was also hanging around.
It was so small. It was like the size of a person's head. It was just like a little baby sloth. It was wild.
Baby sloth. There were pigs running around, and Alex, like a kid in a candy store,
he was like, "I've always wanted to pet a little piggy."
Yeah, it was beautiful and sad. But we said to him firmly, "No, Alex, no.
But
we don't have time for that. No, no.
We have to.
We don't have time for that."
So there was also some comic book stuff there. It was nicely full on Friday, but when we came back on Saturday, that place was packed. It was really full, which is super impressive.
And some of the other guests who were there, they had a Back to the Future reunion featuring Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and of course the essential third character, Huey Lewis.
But not the news, which was a little disappointed. You just kind of
sorry, Pete.
Yeah,
the news were otherwise engaged.
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, it's been hard for news. The news is sort of fallen on hard times with the partisanship in the country. The news has really been split.
Yeah, people just don't trust the news, but they trust Huey Lewis.
Yeah, weirdly.
There was a bunch of celebrity guests doing autographs. We mostly concentrated on the comic book guests and interviewing them. So we had some great conversations with Mark Russell, Jeremy Adams, Stephanie Williams, and we had the
Mark Guggenheim.
Yes.
The Googs.
Was there somebody else? Am I forgetting somebody else, though? Maybe not. No, I don't think so. So at our panel at 4 o'clock, we had Mark Guggenheim, and it semi-accidentally turned into like a very long, but I thought really interesting post-mort on the Arrowverse. Because
about time we put some Arrow talk in there. You know what I mean? After all,
truly,
got a little Arrow talk.
For others listening out there, Pete's Arrow Corner, something where we've said for over and over years, we don't have time. In New Orleans,
the Matt Damon of bits.
Alex and I were weakened by food and alcohol. Alcohol for me, food for Alex, and we did a full Pete's Arrow Corner interviewing Mark Guggenheim, who was integral to all of the Arrowverse shows, about how it was, what happened, and how he feels sort of on the other side of it. If you're a fan of the Arrowverse, essential listen. There were so many interesting details, I thought.
Yeah, it was really great. I mean, he talked a lot, very honestly, about like the end of the Arrowverse. We jumped back a little bit and talked about Legends of Tomorrow and how they realized, this was the most interesting part to me, how they realized like it just was not working in the first season, and then what they did to pivot for the second season. All in the Game asks, what's he working on next? You can listen to the podcast, but I'll mention we talked a bunch about his comic book work. And he also mentioned, without getting into too many specifics, but he is doing a lot of pitching of TV shows and other things. So
he's definitely. I think he was mentioned. He sold through a couple his original series about Last Ship Out. Is that what
that's right? Yeah, Last Ride Out.
Something like that. Sorry, apologies. We do say it correctly on the podcast, but a series that we enjoyed when we reviewed it. But he's at least written the scripts for that for I want to say Netflix, and he's pitching actively and working on a bunch of stuff.
Last Flight Out.
Last Flight Out. That makes sense.
What it was. But yeah, there you go. So those were some fun interviews, and then the next day, Pete died because of a jalapeno, and. We watched sports.
Well, the night was fun. We got to kind of bounce around the city, go to a couple bars, and go to a rooftop party, and get into nerd arguments. And
two
were
things
geeking out, man. It was
two
crazy.
things on that. We hanging out.
We met Dallas fans who were like talking as soon as we walked in. I mean, it was a crazy day and night.
hanging out at Brew Carré, some folks came in, heard we were a geek adjacent podcasters, and Alex put out there to the table, said The Last Jedi is the best Star Wars movie, and the people rallied around, like everyone gathered around like a fireside chat for the hottest take. And Alex literally held court.
It sounds like you're joking, but
I am not joking.
Did, and I was definitely like, this is the most enthusiastic reaction I've ever gotten to anything. This is amazing.
It was very funny to watch that happen. So that was like at, I don't know, like 8 p.m. Yeah. The folks we were talking to were like, hey, we just went to like a wedding. An engagement party, the first half of it. And then the after party is down the way above our bar, New Orleans institution.
Not
bar.
our bar. We don't own a bar.
No,
it's called
the letter R.
Thank you.
Letter R. And which is basically the way that it was described to me is like whenever you think of Mardi Gras and people packed around like shouting at balconies, that's that.
Yeah, a lot of beads thrown from this balcony. So we ended up
right
going
by
with
the
them.
cool chicken spot.
Yes, there is a cool chicken spot, a place, the thing you can discover.
And they had live music playing outside. It was really cool.
Just wait. So where we were, where Brew Carré is adjacent to Frenchman Street. Amazing
place
to
record shop
go.
From
There's a
Cloak
record
and
shop
Dagger.
from Cloak and Dagger.
It's right there by Cloak
Pete,
and Dagger.
You're like a tour guide heckler, just throwing ideas out there in the middle of everything. Frenchman Street, great place to go out, especially known for live music. It's sort of like a little, if you've ever been in Nashville, it's like a little piece of Nashville in the middle of New Orleans. And there was a live jazz band on the street in the middle of the night when we were out there walking to our bar. Went up, we were at one of the suites above our bar, hanging out at this engagement party where we knew basically no one, talking shop, talking shit for like so many hours.
Yeah. And I just want to mention, if anybody out there is listening to the podcast, everybody was so great. Like everybody was so friendly. I did not expect, I expected friendly people, but I did not expect to get into like geeky discussions about Clone Wars and Star Wars stuff.
Until wee hours of the morning.
And it was delightful. It was so much fun. So it was lovely meeting everybody.
It was one of those things where I think Brett said it best when he was like, now this is a New Orleans night. And I was like, hell yeah. And give a little context for my background. I have been solo parenting. My wife's doing a show out of town for like 2.5 weeks.
And you go away. More to go.
I was like, I have another 3.5 weeks. I needed this trip so hard, and the fact that we got to have a really authentic night on the town was so fun to me. It was so satisfying. Straight bullet says our bar is for Royal because that's the street it's on. Amazing time down there. We can't recommend enough to go to Brew Carré. And I want to say this, and stop me if I'm being too far. If you are going to New Orleans and you go to Brew Carré and order a beer, we will buy you a beer. Hit us up in the comments and we'll buy you a beer if you're out there at Brew Carré.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm up for it. And a comic book club burger if it's on the menu. How about that?
If it's still there, you get that burger. Because honestly, it might take 6 to 7 weeks off your life, but it's worth it.
Oh, man. That's so good.
So it was great. We had a great time in New Orleans. We have a ton of podcasts that are rolling out in the main podcast feed. We already put up the live show and Mark Guggenheim, and then the rest of the interviews are coming throughout the rest of the week. So please do check them out. And why don't we move on to your non-New Orleans related questions? If anybody has any questions about comic books or anything like that.
Or what if they have questions about New Orleans, though?
Or New Orleans. We'll give you our very back of the envelope tour guide takes. Straight Bullet will say hi. He says he's there almost all the time. So he will come down and say hello.
Yeah. Here we go. All the Game says, y'all excited for Severance Season 2?
So hyped. I didn't watch it on the plane, but I downloaded to watch it on the plane, the last 2 episodes of Season 1, because it's been multiple years. And I need to refresh, because the last episode of Season 1 is the best episode of the season for sure, and sets up a lot of big revelations. I listened to, while I was running around the Bywater, getting some exercise, running off my hangover, I was listening to an interview from The Daily, I believe. They interviewed Ben Stiller. Interesting career retrospective, but he talks about Severance Season 2, and it is worth a listen if you're a fan. So definitely check that out.
I will mention to Netflix, I watched the first couple of episodes of season 2 earlier today.
Don't Netflix
of course,
on us,
you
bro.
bastard.
Where's the sound
I asked
effect?
you if you got
Where's
screeners
the
and you
sound
said
effect?
I
no.
did it. At the time, I did it, and now I have it.
Where's the sound effect, bro? Come on, man. Where's the
I
Netflix?
don't. Wait, do I have it?
Where's the
You
Netflix,
used
bro?
to. Okay, look,
Oh, here we go.
friggin-
Hold on. Oh, wait, no.
Uh-oh. Netflix power fading.
Sucking on a cheesesteak.
Oh, that's
Oh,
not it.
there it is. Was
That's
that it?
not it. That's
Was
not
that
it.
the
That's
sound
good,
effect?
though.
No, that's not it.
Sucking on a banh mi.
All I'll say is they're great. The episodes that I've watched so far are really, really good. That's it.
Can't wait. Super psyched. Coming this weekend.
Sure is. Stray Bullet says, how did the hoodie I gave to Alex end up with Justin? I hope it was washed.
I put it on straight. I wanted whoever was left this behind. I wanted it on my body. No.
So, full disclosure, we got to the airport. I was about to put it in my suitcase, and there wasn't quite room. And then I looked at Justin, and I was like, this is much more a Justin-style
Hell
sweatshirt
yes.
than it is a me-style sweatshirt.
Look
So
at- Look at this. It's like a matching outfit. I haven't taken it off. Let me just say.
Yeah.
I haven't taken it off.
Yeah, for sure. So that's how that happened. Stanley says, did you read comics this week? We did. We're going to have a stack. As usual. It don't stop, yo.
It don't stop.
Scheuchler says, favorite superhero toys from when you were a kid or an adult?
Ooh. I mean, we talked about this a little bit, I think, with Jeremy Adams at Fan Expo, but the Secret Wars toys from Marvel back in the day were essential to my fandom when I was a kid. I think that was I was just maybe getting comics then and playing with toys, and they were the rubber Marvel figures, if you guys remember, and you could sort of take the arms and legs off and attach them to other. We had the black costume.
You would
Spidey.
rip their arms off, bro?
I mean, they would come off.
Come on.
But we would there'd be an Iron Man leg on the Venom, on the Black Spider-Man.
now
It was like the symbiote had transferred over.
that's
We
awful.
had some fun. Toys are meant to be played with. Watch Toy Story, Pete. Learn a lesson.
I was Star Wars. I was He-Man. I was Transformers. I was G.I. Joe.
Yeah, that's kind of was going to be my answer, except for the G.I. Joe, is I didn't really have superhero toys growing up.
Yeah,
I was
me either.
mostly definitely into the Star Wars toys for sure. Transformers, He-Man, like you said, and that was pretty much it. So
Shouts to Skunkor for actually.
Yeah, Skunkor. Come on.
Skunkor, from a toy perspective, He-Man was taking swings.
Dude, what was
they were
that
like, this
one that
toy
had the
has to stink.
Suction cup one guy, he worked.
Yeah, I don't know, octopi or something probably.
And then Ram Man, he jumped. That was fun.
He never jumped, but
He
he did
did.
kick his legs. I would ask you to make him jump.
Yeah, no, you hit
There's
the little button on the back of his leg. Yeah, you spring loaded, man.
No, he wasn't getting. He was getting a quarter inch off the ground.
That still counts.
Stanley says, did you like Creature Commandos? I will say we are, because of this trip and everything, running a little late on our Sons of a Gun podcast about the finale. We will be taping that. We mildly talked about maybe doing that live tonight, but we're not going to.
No, I think we need to give it some time because it warrants, I think, a more thoughtful conversation. It's a show that I don't want to speak for all of us, but I was very excited going into and in a lot of it. I have some thoughts about the final episode, I will say.
Ooh, we're getting a lot of questions about Skeleton Crew here because the finale is on tonight. Pablo says, are you guys into Skeleton Crew? I've enjoyed it thus far, and I'm looking forward to the last episode. Federico Rosa says, with Skeleton Crew ending today, any thoughts about it? And David McKay says, any crazy speculation before the Star Wars Skeleton Crew finale?
I have been enjoying Skeleton Crew.
Is that episode 7 or episode 8?
8?
Yeah, it's the whatever it is. It's the last one.
Yeah, it's the last.
I just watched 7, so I wasn't sure if that was.
No, the last one is premiering tonight.
Yes,
today.
tonight.
So-
This is, we talked about this already, Pete. This is the post game for New Orleans and then the pre game for Skeleton Crew. That's how we talked about the show.
and let me
Any
say,
thoughts, or just you wanted to check what episode number?
check the scheduling.
Well,
I
'cause
have
It on my screen. It said the last one comes out at 4:00 today, and I just watched it before
4
we said.
o'clock.
Yeah, So I'm wondering if I
What are you
watched
on? Like
the last
you're on a
episode.
dark web VPN? You got some like
Maybe. Don't worry
he's
about
got
where
that
I
dirty
am.
Diz
No,
connection.
it comes out
worry
at
about-
9 p.m. I was just double checking that Pete didn't get something secret. No, it's the 8th final episode. Now that we've established that's going to be on tonight. Justin, what are your...
Great question coming down the pipe in a second. But I've been watching it with my kids, and I think it's gotten better as it's gone on. Something that shows don't always do, and this one really did. I thought the first, like a lot of pilots, they're a little bit odd or different, and they figure out the show once you get into it. I don't know exactly how this one was made, but I thought the pilot was sort of like long and strange what was happening. But man, it's really found its legs. Really love these kids. I feel like there are just the right amount of mysteries left to find out. Like, what is the deal with Jude Law's Jedi-ness? Like something he felt like part of the team, and then he's been the antagonist for the last couple episodes. Curious how they reconcile those things, and curious where they leave it. If this is something that is working, is this a new corner for the Star Wars universe to really play in? Because it's a fun corner. It's expanding the tone and type of story we can tell. It's finally broken them out of only doing regressive Jedi takes. So, like, I hope I would love to see season 2, and I hope this is going to be seen as a success where they can move forward in this vein.
I was also surprised that he wasn't just like, he could have just been like, hey, kids, shut up, and then taking credit, but like, hey, I saved your kids. And then he could have gotten on their nice side and then just been like, yo.
No, but he's a pirate who likes money. So,
Like most pirates, famously.
like most pirates.
The pirates both like money, but they hide their money in very easy to find places.
I am also really enjoying the show, and I agree with you. It's really built nicely as it has gone along. My big thing that I want out of the finale is closure, actually, because the thing that I'm worried about is the show has not been doing great just in terms of viewers. So versus, say, The Acolyte that very much left a bunch of its mysteries and things open for a second season that now is never going to happen. I want Skeleton Crew to just wrap up and be done. And if they decide to have more, awesome. That's great. But I want it to feel like closure rather than Yoda shows up at the end and is like, now the real story begins.
Well, let me say,
Wow.
Acolyte had TV show logic built into its sort of faux movie story. This show has just movie logic. This show is just Goonies.
This is Goonies in
structure.
space. This is Goonies
100%.
in space, and it's like it's a blast. It's fun. I'm hoping that it ends well, because if it does, then it's a W. So yeah, it's got a real chance.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't know budgetarily what they're dealing with for this. Like, I gotta hope they went a little bit less budget-wise than Acolyte, because Acolyte, not good budget-wise. Andor, I was just looking. Did we talk about this last week? Andor's budget for both seasons together is like $645 million. But yikes!
According
Too
to this
much.
report from Forbes, which who knows, but the budget for Skeleton Crew was $136 million.
Okay, I mean, that's a lot, but it's at least not what these other
Sure.
shows are doing. So it's a little bit less. I mean, maybe it's worth it. They have to do something. They have to do something.
I don't know.
What is
I
it?
guess we'll see. We got a bunch more questions piling up here. Stanley says, did you stay in a haunted hotel? No, but we stayed at a very hot Airbnb. Similar.
Yes, we made that Airbnb hot. Alex especially.
Oh yeah, you guys had a little.
But
Hot
I
time
have
together.
stayed in
Little
a haunted hotel in New Orleans, Hotel St. Vincent, which if you're down.
Oh, you were
down
doing
there,
that
is very
haunted
fun.
show, right?
No, not in New Orleans, but great hotel to stay in if you're down there.
Yeah. Stray Bullet mentioned, incidentally, Alex and Justin got egg custard toast with caviar while they waited for their flight, which is true, and that was delicious. I also forgot to mention that we ordered a ton of stuff off the menu at Brew Carré for dinner. That was also fantastic across the board.
I wanted to try that Game Boy, but you guys inhaled it so fast. I like looked down and then looked up, and like it was gone.
Game Boy is a lamb po' boy. Definitely check that out. Yes, and here's the thing. It was right before the flight, the egg custard toast. I found so many buried jalapenos in it. There's so many secret jalapenos just lurking inside of it. Those things are everywhere down there.
And I want to give a recommendation if you do go to Brew Carré and Shift for the wings. The wings are delicious.
The blue cheese alone. The blue cheese
is
alone
very
is
good,
making
right?
it worth
But
it,
the
yeah.
wings, Pete.
Also good.
I
Also
loved
good.
it. Yeah,
Oh,
I love
it's
those
so
things.
sick, man. It's
Here we
food's
got a question
unbelievable.
from Twitch from Scrogner. Quiz for Pete and Justin. Like 250 episodes ago, Alex said the formal name for a silver serving tray with the rounded silver cover that you put over the top. What was it called?
Yo, I don't know. This is like a deep cut attack, and I will say, without any sort of googling or anything, that's a fucking cloche, my guy. We're talking about cloche up magic right here, right?
I don't know what I said, honestly. I would not have said cloche necessarily.
I mean, it's definitely a cloche. And I gotta say, I don't know what this. I have a deep memory of this being referenced. I feel like I would be the one that knew that. But if Alex, you don't know that now, I'm feeling that.
It was on the Daily Show. They did a bit about it.
What? That's not us.
Yeah, but they talked about a cloche. So if you don't think that's what it is, that it is.
That's too close for comfort. Is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
Yes.
exactly.
Well, I don't know. We got to look into this further. Schweikler says, who's an actor who's never done a superhero movie or show but really should?
Ooh. I mean, many. I feel like the gut says go with a young actor, like with someone.
Yeah. Timothy
bring-
Chalamet.
Wow.
Yes, like
As-
who could they play?
The Beyonder from Secret Wars 2.
Nice.
Wow.
Really nice. Well, I mean,
I
that's
want
the
to see
hard part.
Tom Holland teach him how to poop.
That's nice. That's the hard part. Is like, what parts are we casting? We've cast so many of the mage characters over the years. Like, what are we going for? Because I sort of want to say, give me that Sam Elliott Old Man Logan or something like that.
Oh, that would be cool. Pete, you got one?
Get him out of those Gronk commercials that he's trapped in.
Oh,
during,
come on, man. He's just collecting checks, you know? He just gets to walk by and shake his head at Gronk.
You know, I don't know what universe
cash
those
money, bro.
Gronk Sam Elliott commercials live in, but that is a universe I hope to never be trapped in.
Oh, man.
Frederico says, watching the Creature Commandos reviews, I wonder if Alex has ever watched the 007 movies, considering all his rants about casting in future movies. If you're talking about like the consistency of casting, is that what we're getting at here? That is something that comes from James Gunn. And I don't think it is too hard for me to hold his feet to the fire a little bit from the first project to the second project, where he's been like, we're casting these roles and they're going to be in every TV show and movie. And if they do the first TV show and they're like, yeah, other people are going to play those roles, that's directly opposite of the thing that he said to start with. So it's fine if he wants to do that. I don't actually care. But he has very specifically talked about that. They are casting these roles for animation, live action, video games, which we've heard zero about so far. So we'll see.
Well, and we're just starting with this. Let's give him credit. He's under the GUNN with all of this stuff, and to have to nail all of this is very hard. And he is literally the nexus. He's the bottleneck that all creative flows through. So it's a lot to put on him, I think, when it comes to all that casting. But also, when you cast someone, you cast them. It's good. Yeah. These actors are good. Yeah. I would say, and we'll talk more about this in Creature Commanders, I think, let's make sure we're getting the ideas right and, and what we're trying to do here before we start complaining about the casting.
Corey Chichere says, how long did it take Justin to assemble the Barbie dream house? It took a very tired wife and me about an hour and a half to build and stage it late Christmas Eve.
Same. Definitely that. Probably longer. And let me say this.
Did that break you, dude?
No. It's good. It's easy assembly. It's more about you're just jamming plastic into plastic. But the tricky part with it was we got a dog. We moved it into the basement to give space for the dog. And then my wife just went out of town and they're like, let's bring it back up. brought it back up and had to reassemble it. Cold, no directions. Whew, that was the test. Is the second assembly without the paper. Dicey.
Norman Cook on Facebook says, any thoughts about the rumor that Disney is planning to recast T'Challa? Pete, you're a big Wakanda fan. What do you think about that?
I mean, eventually we have to, right? You know, I mean, we can't just take this character off the board as much as we want to respect.
Except they've already
Boseman.
built in a plot way of getting around it, right? Like, that was kind of the point. Spoilers for Wakanda Forever here. But they introduced T'Challa's son, Toussaint, who is nicknamed T'Challa. He was a 10-year-old kid. By the time the next movie comes out, he's going to be at least 15 or mid-teens. So I don't know if they're going to have like a teen Black Panther, but they've already got Shuri as the Black Panther and then young T'Challa. So they could recast the role, but also like they already have it set up for something else, which is fine too.
I mean, this goes to a larger question about what's just going to happen with the MCU or any of this stuff. It's like, can we just lean into recasting as a thing and like hope it works? It feels like the MCU is very resistant of it, and they've been lucky enough so far to be able to bring back these actors. We've got Robert Downey Jr. coming back. Chris Evans seems to be coming back. So they're able to do it, and that's cool, and they seem to be willing to spend the money, but you can't always spend the money, and recasting, I think, is fine. It doesn't besmirch what happened before. Chadwick Boseman, no one would... He's it.
Yeah.
But he's not... He can't do it now. And it's very sad, but also, let's get these stories. Like, if the impediment of telling these stories is get the actor... Get that actor in there. There are so many amazing actors that will bring a different flavor to it, and it doesn't mean it's better or worse. It's just different, and like I think that's great. That's what we should be doing.
Well, so All in the Game follows up with the rumor is using Secret Wars to bring in another universe T'Challa into the main timeline. So I don't think that sounds great to me, and I'll also, to contradict you, Justin, a little bit, I would have agreed with you before Wakanda Forever, where they would have been in a position to be like, sure, it's not going to besmirch his memory necessarily. Find a new actor, talk about how you're paying tribute to him in the movie, etc. They went in a different direction, and they gave a different story in a different way. So rather than being like, nope, not following up on young T'Challa or Shuri, now we have a new actor, and we're doing the thing that maybe we should have done before Wakanda Forever, it's a lot of back and forth. Like, choose a lane and stick with the thing you're doing and figure out how to make it work.
I agree, but they're making the sweaty choice, which is what they've done with a lot of things. And by sweaty, I mean like the choice that is so belabored with exposition, when what they really want to do is just be like, hey, sorry, we have to do something different than what you thought. But it's a new movie, so you can do it to something different. Our brains are fine with having new actors in a new movie telling a new story. That's what's worked for all of the history of Hollywood. To now make it a certain way and have to explain every little thing, I feel like that ties us up into a mess that even the least continuity interested audience member is going to be like, what? I don't need all that. I just want this to be fun, and it's not fun when it's sweaty.
Yeah. All right, and that is it for your audience questions. Now we are going to move on to trivia.
Hey, before we do, I just wanted to say I was looking over the menu to see if there was anything we forgot, and the pulled pork was also really amazing.
While we're giving shout outs to stuff, I'll say the potatoes on the menu. They're these.
The potato soup. I was watching like part of it being made, and I was blown away by it.
Great, but the potatoes, which I actually ate, were these crispy fried potatoes. So good, so delicious. That's all.
And the dipping sauce too.
Dipping sauce.
Really nice. And shouts to Spirit Airlines for really taking us there. You know,
No shouts to Spirit. None.
Wow.
I don't know. I was talking up Spirit Airlines to my wife when I got home. I was like, that was a
nightmare.
smooth ride, pretty cheap.
Talking Spirit up to my wife.
I
Great,
was,
man.
and I was like, we got to fly out of Newark next time. It's so convenient.
I mean, I will say I rarely fly to Newark, and it That's not a bad airport.
No,
the
it
New Orleans
wasn't.
airport is also very nice.
Yeah.
Get there early. Shouts to Pete. Get there early. Hang out.
Hang out. There's plenty to see and
right
do.
by the bathroom. You got to curl up in a fetal position
Yeah,
and
exactly.
shit your braids out.
Hey, I wasn't the only one curled up over there. You know what I mean? There was a
that
bunch of
sounds
people
nice.
having a tough Sunday.
Pete
Did they
met
also have jalapenos, or what did you find out?
We didn't get
about
into
that?
it. There's no talking.
Really?
There's
Oh,
no
okay.
talking. Yeah.
Pete met his future life partner, curled up in the fetal position at the bathroom.
If I could have talked, maybe it would have happened, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
All you
Have
need is
been-
just a look.
Yeah, you've been on that dating app, Fetal Pigs, where it's like you meet people.
What the fuck, dude?
Anyway,
Christ.
why don't we?
missed fetal connection?
You guys like the airline that doesn't give you free drink or like a little snack on when you get on
No,
board? That's
I don't.
ridiculous. That's a
No, as I say, Spirit Airlines is the Greyhound bus of the air. But if that's what if you know you're doing that,
Right.
You
It
know,
sucks.
it's good.
Yeah, if you know that going in, Pete, I bought myself a bottle of water. I got a snack in case I needed it. which I
bought
did
myself
not.
a bottle of water. They used to give us that for free, man. Look at you.
Okay, Pete, you've
That's part of
established
the problem.
You've established yourself as old already in this podcast
Yeah.
in the jalapeno department, so you don't need to keep saying
We
that.
used to be fed a entire meal, and the stewardesses would blow me in the bathroom. Right?
Whoa. What?
Right,
What is
Pete?
going on?
Let's get back to those days. Where's
Whoa.
Patty?
Well,
dude.
let me say, yeah,
What is your deal?
Alex Mile High Club guy. I mean, I would say both are good. You just got to know which one you're doing at what time. Because I got on that flight, the Spirit flight. I watched a movie and a half, and we were there. Fantastic. Done. I will say the cab from my
No
house.
beverage, no snack, bro. That's not flying.
It's No Woman, No Cry is the song, Pete, if that's what you're trying to say. But I will say the Uber from my house to Newark was more expensive than the flight, and what a weird world that is.
Yeah. All right, why don't we move on to trivia? And as mentioned earlier, we are going to donate. Wait, I'm going to get the name right. Here we go. It is the Los Angeles Fire Department, but specifically it's, here we go. Oh my God. Why can't I find it? Here we go. The Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation, which I'm having a hard time getting the exact website address for, but we're going to donate $50 to them to help support folks who are suffering from the LA fires.
Yes.
Pete, hit us with some trivia.
All right. Today's trivia is about the icon comic book series Scarlet and a small nod to the legend Linda Lavin, R.I.P. Alice. Also, overdue bonus shout out and R.I.P. to the legend Grandma Sunshine.
Yes, shouts to Grandma Sunshine.
Great. Oh, so we're paying tribute to two people who have passed away at this point in this quiz.
Yeah.
Just one's a shout out and the other's a tribute, man. Kind of
Yeah, I'm
Keep
sorry,
up.
I got confused.
All right.
Different slots. It's weird to be the one doing the trivia. Usually I'm just sort of slightly roasted.
Yeah, you usually just check out. Please listen to all
I
three
never
options
check out.
before making your selection. Question number 1. Scarlet is the name of the badass main character, but who wrote this comic? Is it A, Brian Michael Bendis, B, when did well, did Jenny fall in or did she just fall near? Jenny Fellner.
Wow. Really answer your own question there.
I'm going to say A. What do you think, Justin?
Here's the thing. What I just want to say is, like, Pete has the tightest cinematic universe of anyone. Every one of these trivia questions is like a tiny little bubble that reflects on itself. Beautiful. A.
A is correct. Question number 2. Who did the amazing art for this comic? Is it A, Alex Maleev, B, who smoked all the weed? Well, it couldn't have been Brad Bong. Which was C.
Wait, if he's Brad Bong, though,
Yes,
that'd be-
I like you stuck the C at the end.
Yeah.
Could have been Brad Bong. He's C.
but they'd smoke him, right? He wouldn't smoke the weed. They would
Is
smoke
he-
the weed out
No.
of him.
Is he a Bong?
When
Or
when
is his
I
name
when
just
I
Brad?
load a bong or a ball, I'm like, you enjoy this weed, and I'll get it on the other side.
Yeah.
You smoke it first, bong.
Sounds good. I'm going to say A again.
A is correct.
Oh, okay. I was gonna go with A.
Yeah. Nice towel-y impression there, Alex.
Oh, thank you.
Question number 3.
I love South Park.
Question number 3. This comic also breaks blank. Is it A, the fourth wall? B, don't want to play Mary F. Kill. I want to know if K won or just placed. C, Mary K. Place.
Justin, do you have an answer for this one?
Sorry, Pete, did you do this on the plane underneath the jalapeno urge you were having?
Maybe.
Yeah. I guess I hate to be predictable, but I'm going to go with A.
Well done.
Hey, there we go.
Hey.
We got it. We are going to donate $50, as I mentioned, to the LA Fire Department Foundation. Pete, what movie were you paying tribute to there?
Of course, I was talking about the 2015 Believe in Yourself rom-com, The Intern.
Sorry, what's a Believe in Yourself rom-com?
It's like a rom-com, but it's got more of a message that you need to believe in yourself.
Can you name one other?
What?
Can you name one other Believe in Yourself rom-com?
Huh. I would say...
go ahead, Pete.
What's the one with Fox Books and the old...
That's the one where you met the love of your life in fetal position next to the bathroom in the New Orleans airplane tournament.
Yeah.
Because I believe in you in that.
That movie was called Fetal Pigs, I believe.
Yes.
I heard
You're
Fetal
just
Pigs
pigs.
too is better.
Fetal pigs.
Yeah.
Pigs, famously, what in Willow, what Bab Mortem turns everyone into, except for Willow.
That's my main reference point for
Famously.
Pigs, too. As we all
Thank you,
know,
Scheuchler. It's You Got Mail.
Excellent. If you little piggies want to pick up some comic books this week, you sure should. They are coming out.
Before you get to that, Alex, I just want to say, Stanley's question, when's your next in-person show? Because I got to say, it felt good. Felt good to be in the room.
We'll see. It's only taken 5 years at this point, so I'm sure the next one will be sooner than that. We'll figure out something for sure.
Yeah,
next
Pete
time we're
hasn't
going to
invited
New
us
Orleans.
to his house yet.
You're
so-
invited. You're more than welcome.
Okay, you
Anytime.
just got to put a date on the cal. We'll just do a live one from Pete's porch.
Sweet.
Cool. What comics are you guys looking forward to that are coming out this week? Pete?
Well, man, there's some great comics, I'm sure, and I look forward to talking about them with you guys. But I'd say Batman and Robin Year 1, number 4, Wonder Woman, number 17, and The Oddly Pedestrian Life of Christopher Chaos, number 15.
Wow, look at all of that stuff. I'm looking forward to New Gods, number 2. Man, that first issue was like a shot across the bow. It felt like a real flag-placing moment in the new DC universe. And I feel like the DC universe is being so smartly paced with what they're doing. So I'm excited to feel that move forward. And Spider-Man number 65 comes out tomorrow. Amazing Spider-Man
65 .deaths.
.deaths. I love to keep track of my numbers that way. That's how I say, how old are you? And I'm like 45 .deaths.
Oh, wow. Because that's how
getting
many
closer.
people you killed?
Yeah. And when I eat their hearts, I get younger. That's why I'm still younger than you two psychopaths. But I am looking forward to 65 a little bit, .deaths, but I'm definitely looking forward to 66 when the cover of which is Peter Parker, Spider-Man kissing Black Cat on the cover. Let's go. That's 1 month. 1 month away or less.
Bunch of stuff I'm looking forward to. I've been really enjoying Exceptional X-Men, and there's a new issue that comes out tomorrow. That is the Chicago X-Men with Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost. Also, Star Trek Lower Decks number 3. That's just a classic.
Man, you can't help yourself.
I can't. Ryan North, though, man, he writes great comedy books.
Yes.
I just love it. I say the same thing about his books every time, but they're just always really solid. And I'm really curious to check out Skin Police number 4 from Odie Press. This from Jordan Thomas and Daniel Jeté. That is a wild 2000 AD style sci-fi comic.
Is this the last issue of Skin Please?
No, I think there's one more after this.
Okay.
But really enjoying that series as well. And I'm sure... Oh, there's another issue of FML from Kelly Sue DeConnick and David Lopez. Great, very timely book as well. Definitely pick that up. And folks, that is it for this week's show. Couple of people we want to thank is nobody, just ourselves. But do
Yeah.
give to the LA Fire Department or other charities. There's tons of GoFundMes out there that
And
you
we'll
can
have guests
support.
probably
Just,
next show.
I know it feels like a lot, but hold on. I know it feels like a lot, but you can search them out, donate to one, and that is good. Whatever you can afford or not, or just pass them on. Lift them up socially, whatever you can do. Next week on the show, Ben Kahn is going to be here to talk about Mr. Muffins, and Chris Robinson is going to be here to talk about ODB, a lyrical ruckus in the city.
Nice.
Comic Book Club News, our daily news podcast. You can check that out Monday through Friday. Sons of a Gun, our DC podcast. We will be talking about Creature Commandos, and also Marvel Vision, our Marvel podcast. At some point, we will be talking about the final season of What If as well, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, yeah.
Patreon.com/Comic Book Club to support this show and all the shows we do. Subscribe on Apple, Android, Spotify, or the app of your choice. Comic Book Club on Blue Sky, Comic Book Club Live on Instagram, TikTok, or Threads. ComicBookClubLive.com for this podcast and many more. Until next time, we'll see you at the Comic Book Club.
Laissez le bon temps brûler.
Yeah, what he said.
Ufaletta.
Breakfast tacos.
I put a jalapeno in Pete's garage beer, and he hasn't found it yet.
Oh, no. Take care of yourself out there.
Good night, everybody.